consistency is key is true, it's not always as easy as it sounds. After all, we're not robots. We're people who sometimes have bad days or have things happen that make us want to put our entire life on hold. The truth about consistency is you're not always going to be motivated, which is why discipline is more important than motivation. 1. Discipline over motivation. Progress isn't always tangible. If you aren't seeing the results as quickly as you were hoping, it's easy to fall back into older habits and give up entirely. Let's say you've been going to the gym and eating healthier to try and lose weight. You're looking at photos of yourself from a month ago, and you don't feel like you look all that different. This might make you feel like it's easier to just cancel your membership and sit at home instead. But in reality, visible results aren't the first results you'll see from the gym. Sticking with the same scenario, if you don't look entirely different after just 1 month, that's not a bad thing. It means you've been eating enough to keep up with all the calories you're burning. As you gain more muscle in the gym, excess fat will shed in its own time. Meanwhile, you'll get to reap the mental benefits that come with going to the gym. Not only are you keeping yourself disciplined when you get up and exercise, even when you're feeling lazy, you're also keeping a promise to yourself. Both of these things create a better self-image and will make your problems seem just a little bit smaller. 2. Keep your thoughts consistent. Maybe you don't have enough physical energy or time to go to the gym right now, but everything starts with your thoughts. If you feel guilt start to creep in about how you could be doing more, remind yourself of the progress you've already made. It's not easy to build habits, especially healthy ones. As you change your mindset, it will be easier to accomplish things in the future, if not today. If you can't go to the gym today, that's okay, but it doesn't mean you can't do anything that is good for you which could help you reach your goals. When the self-doubt starts to set in, combat it both physically and mentally. Replace a negative thought with a positive one, or find something different to focus on entirely. For example, if you're having thoughts that you failed because you didn't make it to the gym, get up. Movement can distract our minds. Even 20 push-ups or jumping jacks will shift your mind's focus from "I didn't do anything" to "I'm doing something." Try turning on some music that lightens your mood. 3. Give yourself grace. As much as we want it to be, progress isn't always linear, but this doesn't mean it's not consistent. Consistency might not always look like going to the gym every single day, because self-improvement is not tied down to one thing. Instead, if you didn't go to the gym, you can work on being consistent with your kindness towards yourself. Forgiveness is important, but forgiving yourself is the most important. Instead of feeling bad about yourself that you didn't get everything done today, feel proud that you even started a fitness journey in the first place. We all have bad days, and that's okay. If you believe that it's not okay to have bad days, this will only make consistency harder. Consistency in the face of fear. Being consistent with anything means that you are committed to it. The last thing you want to do is sit motionless as opportunities pass you by. But fear, especially the fear of failure, can be paralyzing. There are 2 things you can do with fear: let it win or use it as motivation. The most important thing about staying consistent when you're afraid is to know that you are not your negative thoughts. Whether you have a fear of failing, of being truly seen, or even a fear of being afraid, times like these are arguably the most critical in terms of staying consistent. In fact, doing something even though you're afraid of it can pay off more than if you didn't have any fears. For one, you'll be prouder of yourself in the end. Being afraid can also make you more cautious, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The trick is to not let it control you and balance your caution with confidence. There are a few ways in which you can learn to control your fears rather than letting them control you. As you do this, you may realize that they don't hold as much power as they did before you began meditating. Journaling is another way to work through fears. Both of these mechanisms are beneficial to our mental health, And the more you do them, the more you'll build consistency. As you learn more about yourself, you can learn the root of your fears. Questioning your fears will give them less power than they may have had initially, and understanding yourself is the best way to stop holding yourself back. Another way to stay consistent in the face of fear is by using affirmations. Now, it may seem silly at first, but standing in front of the mirror and saying positive affirmations to yourself can help change your perspective. Consistency doesn't always have to be an intense thing, but coupled with fear, it can definitely feel intense. It's not easy to fight fear, but what worthwhile thing is easy? As you practice staying consistent in the face of fear, it will become less challenging, and you'll be glad that you did it. Consistency doesn't need to be big. When you hear from mega famous and successful people that they got there by being consistent, you might find yourself thinking that means they spent hours every day practicing or bettering themselves and never took a day off. Thinking this, or doing it, is not realistic or sustainable. But it sure is easy to think that it's the only way to be consistent. Really, consistency isn't always about the big things. Sure, it's about not giving up, but that can have so many meanings which are all valid. For example, say your goal is to lose weight and become healthier. Every moment of every day can't realistically or healthily be dedicated to losing weight, but you can surely spend a lot of time becoming healthier. With that scenario, think about what health means to you. Eating healthier and exercising more, sure. But as you probably know, physical and mental health go hand in hand. And luckily, there are many small ways to work on both. Even if it seems small, a bunch of small things combined make something big and worthwhile. Eating organic, home-cooked meals every day can seem impossible if you're used to processed foods and fast food. Instead of setting your goal as completely eliminating fast food, try limiting yourself to one less than healthy meal a week, or having a meat-free dinner once or twice a week. When you set and achieve smaller goals like this, you're showing yourself that your bigger goals are doable, and you're getting closer to them too. Going to the gym all the time can feel like an incomprehensible step when you're used to a sedentary lifestyle. Instead, try going for small walks a few times a week. It's recommended that you get 60 minutes of exercise every day, but this doesn't mean that it must all be done at once or all in the same way. If you don't go to the gym today, try doing some yoga and going for a walk. There are plenty of beginners yoga videos online that will meet you where you're at. We've covered the physical parts of consistency pertaining to a healthier lifestyle, but what about the mental ones? Maybe you're tired out from a long day and just can't get in those 60 minutes of exercise. Here's a secret. That's okay. Consistency doesn't have to look the same every day either. You can be consistent with yourself in multiple ways. Instead of scrolling through your phone after a long day, try reading a book or meditating. If you aren't used to doing either of those things, they will be difficult at first, but like anything, a start is a start, and once you start, you'll find yourself wanting to do it more and more. When you notice yourself mindlessly scrolling, try putting on some meditation music and setting a timer for 10 minutes. Meditation helps you be more in tune with yourself. 10 minutes might not seem like much, but tons of research has been done on the benefits of it. You've probably heard millionaires talk about meditating in the morning. Some do it for 5 minutes, some dedicate more time to meditation. Either way, you're reaping the benefits by just sitting with yourself and clearing your head for a few minutes. The same can be said for reading a book. There are clear benefits, and you can start out with just a few minutes per day. These are just a couple of habits you could pick up. Journaling or spending time in nature instead of in your home are some more good ones, both of which you can do for as long or as short as you feel like. Building self-improvement habits like these will help you feel more motivated and more capable of your bigger goals, like eating healthier and losing weight. When you take baby steps instead of diving headfirst into a new territory, you're setting yourself up for success with consistency. 10 ways to be more consistent in less time. Consistency is something that helps us in many ways. It gets us closer to our big life goals. It helps us care for ourselves, and it allows us to be more confident. But the word consistency alone can mean a lot, and you might not know where to start. Here are 10 ways to be more consistent. 1. Get out of bed. Our morning sets up the rest of the day. If the first thing you do when you wake up is go on your phone, not only is this wasting time, it's slowing your brain down. This is not an easy habit to break, so try telling yourself later instead of no. It's true anyway, you'll probably end up scrolling later. Instead of rolling over and turning on your phone, try to start getting up right away and brushing your teeth and washing your face. Some other morning habits to build could be drinking water or stretching. If you have spare time after this healthier morning routine, then you can have phone time. But going on your phone as soon as you wake up does damage your motivation. 2. Set small goals. Consistency applies to every part of your life. Setting small goals is great for your self-esteem, as you're showing yourself that you are capable of completing things you set your mind to. If your goal is to get out of bed as soon as you wake up, you could try getting up and making your bed instead of throwing yourself into a new, unfamiliar routine right away. If you're trying to eat healthier, a smaller goal you could set would be to eat veggies with every meal. Maybe you got pizza for dinner, but you can balance that by cooking some broccoli. 3. Give yourself grace. Okay, let's say you got that pizza but didn't end up having any veggies with it. You aren't always going to be perfect, and that's okay. Forgiving yourself is a huge part of consistency. After all, without slip-ups and mistakes, there wouldn't be any progress. The fact that you slipped up means that you were already making progress, and the sooner you forgive yourself, the sooner you can progress even more. 4. Pick up healthier habits. More often than not, being consistent is synonymous to having healthier habits. As you become consistent with both short and long-term goals, you're likely to develop a healthier lifestyle, both mentally and physically. Having healthy coping strategies will help you feel more on top of things, and you'll be able to navigate your life with ease. 5. Organize your life. A great way to stay consistent is to be organized. Now, you've probably had times where you meant to do something, but it slipped your mind until it was too late. Organization will help you be more consistent, and vice versa. Now, this can look different for different people, whether you utilize your notes app, calendar app, or physical versions to help you remember plans you have. 6. Stick to your word. Sticking to your word consistently is helpful for both you and the people around you. When you set goals for yourself and complete them, you're sticking to a plan/promise you made to yourself. Sticking to your word with others and developing clear communication skills will make you a reliable person. This is a very admirable personality trait. 7. Get moving. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion, while objects at rest tend to stay at rest. This applies for people too. You don't have to be busy all the time, but when you have downtime, consider doing some basic movements such as stretching for a healthier body and mind. 8. Be present. Staying in the present moment will help you reach short-term and long-term goals, as you'll have a clear mind and sharp focus. How you do that best is up to you, whether it be through mindful breathing, journaling before a big event, or meditation, to name a few. 9. Progress over perfection. Trying to be perfect can often lead to disappointment, especially if you view perfection as something other than yourself. If your day, week, month, etc. didn't go as planned, look back on how far you've come in the first place, rather than getting discouraged by one mishap. And finally, 10. Learn discipline. Discipline is surely one of the most important elements of consistency. Some days you're not going to feel like doing much. This is why discipline is important, more so than motivation. Discipline is training yourself in a sense to get things done, rather than needing an outside force or a certain feeling to do so.